Frame job: the downfall of a targeted man. The perfect betrayal. Daniel was a man of discipline and integrity. A former cybersecurity expert turned entrepreneur, he had built a reputation for honesty, hard work, and innovation. But none of that mattered when the people closest to him, the woman he once loved, her secret lover, and a network of corrupted enablers, decided to destroy his life for greed. The nightmare began with Adriana, the seemingly devoted girlfriend who had moved in under the guise of love and support. She played the perfect role for nearly a year, pretending to care while secretly drugging his food, manipulating his emotions, and gathering information at the request of her real employers, his ex-wife. Melissa had already taken his assets, his properties, and his reputation during the divorce, but that wasn't enough. There was still one thing she couldn't touch legally: a hidden offshore account from Daniel's inheritance. If she could access that money, she could erase him from existence. So they set up the ultimate con: the web of lies. The smear campaign. Melissa and her husband went into overdrive, hiring an army of social media trolls, fake accounts, and even bloggers to spread malicious rumors about Daniel. They fabricated police reports, leaked false mental health records, and paid influencers to label him as a dangerous man. Legal manipulation and stolen documents. They filed bogus restraining orders, fabricated allegations of harassment, and even blocked his mail, ensuring he never received crucial legal notices that could have helped him fight back. Bribing law enforcement. Corrupt detectives and private investigators were paid off to monitor him, intercept emails, and even intimidate potential allies. Those who didn't comply were blackmailed with evidence of their own eye. MKUltra tactics. They employed psychological warfare, subliminal messaging, sleep deprivation through loud noises outside his home, and even remote hacking of his smart devices to send disturbing images and messages. The poison plot. Adriana had been slipping microdoses of a slow-acting toxin into his drinks, designed to mimic chronic illness and mental instability. If he ever spoke out, his symptoms would discredit him, making him look paranoid or delusional. The breaking point. Daniel knew something was wrong. He wasn't just being watched, he was being hunted. The problem: no one believed him. His phone was being tapped, his movements tracked, and every attempt to expose the truth was countered with evidence that he was unstable. When his finances mysteriously froze, his bank accounts were flagged for investigation, and his business contacts suddenly cut ties, he realized the extent of the attack. They wanted to leave him broke, isolated, and legally powerless. The awakening. But what they didn't know was that Daniel wasn't just any man. He had prepared for war. Using skills he had honed over years in cybersecurity, Daniel traced the IP addresses of the smear campaign accounts, the digital signatures of the hacked emails, and even the hidden camera feeds that had been installed in his home. He didn't just have evidence, he had proof of a full-blown conspiracy. The reckoning. Step 1. The data leak. Daniel uploaded everything to a secure cloud server: videos, financial transactions, phone call recordings, and legal documents that proved the entire setup. Then, he sent the encrypted files to an investigative spiritual journalist, a federal prosecutor, and an anonymous whistleblower site. The reversal. He hired private forensic accountants to track the offshore funds Melissa and her husband had secretly funneled. Within weeks, their assets were seized. The exposure. Adriana, now exposed as a hired informant, was forced to testify in exchange for immunity. She revealed how she had been paid through offshore accounts and instructed to neutralize Daniel. The takedown. With the ABC now involved, the network of corruption unraveled. Melissa and her husband were arrested for fraud, conspiracy, and identity theft. Corrupt police officers were suspended and charged, especially for stealing drugs and distributing them and consuming them inside the coven. The smear campaign was exposed, with major lawsuits filed against social media platforms that allowed defamation. The aftermath. For the first time in years, Daniel was free. His name was cleared. His money was restored, and his enemies facing decades in prison. But the biggest victory, they had turned him into a villain. A villain with nothing to lose, and they never saw him coming. Justice wasn't given, he took it. Did they think he would just roll over and die? Think again. One last notice. Be mindful of who you let in. Not everyone who smiles in your face has good intentions. Some come with hidden agendas, posing as friends, lovers, or allies while secretly working against you. Be cautious of those who pry too much, ask too many personal questions, or always seem to know more about you than they should. Your home is your sanctuary, And your energy is sacred. Don't invite in snakes disguised as support. Betrayal often comes from those closest to you, so trust actions, not just words. Guard your space, protect your peace, and never ignore your instincts.